Hello, hello.
Hello, we're live. We've made it. Good evening to everybody who's watching this evening. Welcome along to Hampshire's property market chat. I'm Mike from Avocado Property in the new head office. Behind me is our studio. In front of me is our meeting room. So it's much bigger, much more spacious. We love it. A little bit more natural light. And that's enough of the tour. With me this evening, I have, if everyone is in the same position on their screens, Mark Holloway.
Hello.
Avocado property partner specialising in Yateley and North Hampshire. And I also have Sean Egan, specialising
Hello.
in Fleet Church, Crickham and surrounds. And then the most challenging of all points, Andy Meads, who is specialist in new homes across the southeast of the UK. So he's going to give us an update in the new homes market for the local area as well. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining me. Firstly, where shall we start? Big reports this week in the national news of what they call secret sales. So it has been alleged that 10% of sales are secret sales. They go through with absolutely no market knowledge. Now, we reported probably a year ago or so, somewhere in the region of 24 to 25% of the properties we sell are sold before they hit the portals. So 10% of the UK, 24, 25% of us. What do we think, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's also market dependent, isn't it? Whether when the market's, as we call it, bonkers, people like to get in there quick. We have lists of people who are ready to go. They don't particularly want to wait for it to come on the right move and Zoopla portals and get involved in a bum fight. We know the right person for the right property. Ring them, get them round. There you go. People who sit back and wait for the property to come on right move, they're going to lose out 75% of the time.
Sean, same in your area?
Well, it depends what you're selling, really. With freehold properties, absolutely, yeah. If you've got the right buyer for it, they're going to sell. You just pick up the phone and you can call the buyer, and that doesn't ring alarm bells of anyone. I mean, every estate agency will have their top 10 buyers list, and you'll always stay in touch with the people who want those properties, who want to get out and take a look at them before they come on the market. So. It's not brand new news, is it? Really, it's just it's good old-fashioned estate agency.
It might be news to people who spend their lives on the Rightmove app. Certainly not news to us. How do you get into any estate agent's top 10 list? How do you become a top 10 buyer?
Well, I guess first of all you've got to be registered with them. You've got to be out viewing with them and on regularly on the phone to them, I guess, staying in their knowledge. And if a high street estate agent is keeping a top 10 buyers list, they'll have that list in their office, or they'll have it in each negotiator's diary, written down at the front or at the back. Obviously us, we work individually or as a team, and we've got the systems that can show us who's actively looking the most for properties, and who's keeping us messaged up.
Andy, slightly different world from new homes. What's likely to sell on the portals? What's likely to sell before it even hits there? Should you as a buyer be talking to people, or should you be reliant on what information is available to you online?
You should be talking to people. And I don't think it's a case of, I don't think there's secret sales. I think they're swift sales. Switched on buyers who are in touch with the agent, who have made the agent aware of what they're interested in. They're on Facebook. It's no secret and it's no surprise that most or the majority of or all of our listings, whether they be new homes, secondhand or rentals, go on Facebook first. Now, just because somebody buys it through Facebook doesn't mean that's a secret sale. It's just a switched on buyer who's logged onto our Facebook accounts, registered on our Facebook accounts, and is getting the first information on it. So it's common sense, I think. It's just a different way of marketing, and people need to adjust that with the Facebook marketing. we're bringing the houses to you. With the Rightmove marketing and the Zoopla marketing, you're reliant on stumbling across them. So I wouldn't say they're secret sales, I'd say they're savvy sales, because the buyers they're in touch with the right thing. A secret sale is somebody saying to me, "Oh, don't tell anybody else about it. I want to buy that one." But that's not what happens. If you go on Facebook, I've got, I said, we've spoken about this before, the site in High Wycombe, which I know isn't in Hampshire, but before we even went live, 17,000 people had seen advertising I'd done on Facebook for it before we'd even launched on Rightmove. No, that's not a secret.
No, absolutely. It's the opposite of secret. If 17,000, and there'll be local people as well. It'll be localized Facebook traffic who have seen that. It means effectively everybody in the local towns has had access to see that before it's hit the portals, which potentially is the way it should be, because in years gone by it was local papers and walking into offices, so it's a very localized market. So secret sales is the newspaper's version of what we would say good estate agency, I think. Is probably the crux of it. And as Sean said, if you want to know what's happening before you see it happening, it takes a week or so to get a property to the portals if you're doing it properly and you're doing the marketing right. If you want to know that's happening before it actually happens, you have to build up a relationship with the person who's doing that. And that means speaking to that estate agent, making sure you're registered, making sure they understand and remember you. I think from my point of view, I have certain people that I will remember over others because they've been specific and they've been the right type of person and they've been nice. It doesn't hurt, does it, to be nice? So those are some big things if you want to hear about properties coming available before anything else. Those are three big rules, I think. So that's something that's been on. Sean?
Sorry, I was going to say, as Andy said, as we really do promote our properties out on Facebook, I've got a property that's under offer in Crookham Park, in Church Crookham, where actually one of the Crookham Park residents saw the property, saw the teaser video that I put out, then got alerted when the main video went out. As a result, showed it to her mum. Her mum wasn't looking on the portals, wasn't looking on Rightmove, Zoopla, had no interest in moving until her daughter saw this particular apartment come up, saw it, called me, asked if she could take a look, and she's now buying the property. She put in an offer over the full asking price as well, which is great news for the seller, before actually even selling her property, and sold her property within a week. Not a secret sale, but certainly not a sale through the portals.
I think that's another big point to make as well. If people are buying property before they go to market, I mean, every house is on the market. When I say before they go to market, before they hit Rightmove or Zoopla or the sort of traditional marketing methods, people have to pay top money in order to stop them going to the masses. It's not a secret sale, an off-market property, a pre-marketed property, whatever you want to call it. People will pay top value in order to prevent other people from seeing it. You're getting that access, but you have to pay for the privilege. I think that's fair to say. So whilst you're talking about houses selling in Crookham Park, Sean, give us a market update of what's happening in Fleet and the surrounding areas.
There seems to be a lot less freeholds coming on the market and a lot more leaseholds, so a lot more flats, apartments that are coming on, which we are seeing, some more reductions. We're seeing prices start to stabilize in regards to those leasehold properties. And I've got the choice of some absolute stunning properties that have just come on the market, which are having a great response within days. It's incredible, but there's a huge demand for freehold property. So if you've got a house of any nature at the moment and you're considering when's the best time to sell, or with little competition, get it on the market, stick it on for a good price. And this is probably a time where I would, put it out there as much as possible. Lots of marketing to just, get that buyers and get the prices up.
What about yourself, Mark? Similar story, or things changing, things moving differently in Yateley and the surrounding areas?
Yeah, we're a different market here. We have very few apartments in Yateley and Eversley. What I am noticing is more houses are coming to the market and are staying on the market for longer. So I think we've peaked on the prices, and I've seen a couple of price reductions as well, which is interesting. And I think the inquiries are still coming in. People are still responding to the Facebook ads. Valuation popped in today from an advert that's going around Yateley. I think people are still serious about moving, still looking to come to the market. The flat side, I can't remember the last time I saw a flat in Yateley, to be honest with you. No, I can't. But
I'm trying to think where they are as well. It's more Blackwater, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, they are. Yeah. I suppose you've got the co-op, but not just opposite the co-op, and you've got on Monteagle Lane. Those are the only ones I can think of. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. The market itself, as we're coming into the summer, I'm noticing it's possibly getting a little quieter, but valuations are still coming in. People are still looking at coming to the market. I've got 3 in the pipeline. Yeah, it's all good.
Andy, new homes market. Where are we? Where do we stand? What's changing?
What's changing? Help to Buy. Big announcement on Help to Buy this week about when it finishes and actually dates and times that you need to have everything in by. So closes on the 31st of March 2023. So you must have legally completed by 31st of March 2023 to apply to benefit from Help to Buy. But the most important thing is the last application they are taking in is now the 31st of October 2022 at 6 o'clock. So if you haven't got an authority to proceed by the 1st of November, you're not going to get Help to Buy. So if you're looking at buying somewhere, 31st of October is your last chance to get your application in. Otherwise, you won't be able to get Help to Buy.
So we've got about 100 days in order to find a brand new property with Help to Buy if you want to take hold of that scheme.
Yeah, and currently I thought today was going to be the day that he would announce, he being Boris, would announce an extension or a different scheme for the Help to Buy, because it's been so prevalent for the housing market. It's been a massive, massive boost. I can give you some figures. I know that I am stat man, but
go on then, stat man. Give us your best
figures. Right, April 2013 to December 22, 355,630 odd properties benefited from Help to Buy. Now, if you think every household contributes £10,000 to the UK economy, that's £3.5 billion that Help to Buy has benefited the UK economy, which is massive, especially bearing in mind the last 2 years, what we've been going through the last 2 years. Total value of equity loans is £22 billion worth of loans out. So yeah, big numbers. It's kept the housing market and especially the new homes market going really well, because it is predominantly new homes that benefits from the Help to Buy. So
what happens next then? What happens next from the new homes market? Is the new homes market being propped up by Help to Buy? Are we set to see a step change in how properties are sold by developers? I
think we may have to if they don't come back with a different scheme. Now, I remember last time when they changed the scheme in 2020, I think it was, when they changed it last time just to benefit first-time buyers. Initially, it was just going to be stopped from 2020, but at the very last minute, they said, no, we're going to continue it now for first-time buyers. So I don't know what's going to happen, because it will be a massive change, because we've had, what we know, 2022, so that's 8 years of Help to Buy in the housing market, which has been, it's helped a lot of developers. It's helped a lot of developments get sold. I mean, the apartments we've got in Slough, I'd say a good 70% of them, 75% used Help to Buy. So it's helped people get on the ladder. It's helped people buy houses. but it's also contributed an awful lot to the economy. So it's, I don't know, I can't believe they will let it go by the wayside without putting something in place to rectify it. I mean, there's a new scheme he's talked about today, the benefits to bricks, which is to help the people on housing benefits and to use the benefits, because currently the benefits you get for your housing benefits you can't use as an income to go towards a mortgage, which is I think what they want to start doing now is putting the benefits you get down towards now as an income so you can get that towards your mortgage. But there's 1.5 million people in work that are on housing benefits and 2.5 million people, tenants, that can look at the right to buy from the housing associations that they're looking at helping the lower end of the market. But that's where it's going to stop, I think, because if you've got people buying from the housing associations, they're not buying on somewhere else. So there's going to be a bit of a gap for those people. Yes, it's great we can help those people get onto the actual property ladder rather than renting or not owning the property outright or not owning a share of the property. But it's not going to help the full game housing market.
No, it's potentially something that's going to take years to flow through with those people then selling on those properties that they bought under the right to buy in maybe 5, 10, 15 years time, I guess. But yeah, there's always been a strange disparity that if you're renting, then you can use your housing benefits. If you want to own the property, then you can't. Whilst I think the majority of people would like to own their properties and have their mortgages paid off by the time they retire rather than continuing to rent and continuing to rely on those benefits. So potentially it's something that could help retired people or people who are sort of the middle age who are, and I work in I'm from a lettings background. You can be earning good money, but because you've got a family, because it's an expensive area, then you're still nowhere near, and you have to have a top up from the local council. So if they can eradicate at least some of those top ups, can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, but I think the issue is
policy.
Yeah, I know, but I think the issue with it is if you're on universal credits, you can only have up to £16,000. Mark, you mentioned this earlier. You can only have £16,000 for savings. Now, the average house price is £289,000. If you're going to buy the full share, 5% of that is 14,500. So that's your money in the bank as your deposit. Well, you then got to pay solicitors' fees and whatever else. So I think there's still a bit to do on it, and that's if you can get the 95% mortgage, which I think you can do nowadays. There's quite a few of them around, but
you need more than 95% to get to £289,000. So potentially, Statman's calling. I was going to say something beginning with B and ending in an S. Then calling hot air on Boris Johnson. Would you believe it? Honestly, it's a policy that doesn't make sense. Come on now, who are we joking? Right, I've got a controversial question here from one of our partner agents, Georgina. What do we think about certain agents charging clients for AML checks? I was blissfully aware that this happened. I'm going to leave that on the screen. I'm not here to agent bash. I will say one thing straightforward. An AML check is an anti-money laundering check, which every buyer and seller has to be checked by their estate agent and their solicitor, because we have intimate knowledge of a property transaction. Therefore, we need to check whether you are risking doing something right or wrong. Bye, Andy.
Sorry, I've got to open my window, so I'm getting sweating.
An anti-money laundering check, as a business owner, they cost me the grand sum, I believe, of £2.40. Mark, you want to go, don't you? Come on, talk to me.
No, I'm holding myself back. I am. You're right. I would just say one thing: is this a case of putting the cash before the client? What's £2.40 per person? Really? They can't be doing it, can they?
Are they charging £2.40, Mark, or are they charging more?
There is a whisper that it's a little bit more.
A whisper.
I haven't classified that. I haven't proven that yet. Yes. No, I don't want to agent bash, but I do think it's let's charge each person around, I don't know, 50, 60 quid, shall we? And it's, I don't know, it does the staff party, I suppose, at Christmas.
Well, someone's got to pay. Sean, what do you think? Charging for AML checks, is it just something an estate agent should be doing, or have we got fair right to do it? My solicitor charged me last time I sold my property. My solicitor charged me for an anti-money laundering check.
I think personally, if you're upfront from the very beginning about what upfront costs are, before you've got a client to go ahead, then there shouldn't be a problem with it. If you've got someone on board that said, yeah, I want to use you, and now you're going to start tagging on a cost here for this, a cost here for that, and when they are so small, it kind of takes the magic out of it all, really. And I think that's probably unfair. But like I said, if you have this is our agreement, this is everything you're going to have to do, this is just something you have to do, it's £10. Then people are quite willing if they know about things. No, every agent, I'm not here to agent bash either, but every business is probably run very differently than each other. If it's a mass corporate that's charging ridiculously high costs already for someone with their first suit to do your viewings, and then going to add £60 on when it actually costs £2.50, then yeah, it's a bit, it's a bit of a mick take, but this is the world of business, isn't it?
Everyone's got to make a living, and everyone know that costs of bureaucracy are on the increase. But it's a free tip for any buyer out there or seller. If you're being charged by your estate agent for an AML check, then fair enough, it is costing them money, it's costing us money to do that. Do know that whilst it's costing money to do that, yeah, there's a human element of actually plugging that data in. The physical cost of that check is around about £2.40. So feel free to question it. If you're being charged 60 times, that is probably my advice. Gents, next topic, record high house prices. That gets reported every month, I think, at the moment. Record high house prices. The media and some industry commentators are, do we think, true or false? Andy Mead.
False, in my opinion. Just from activity I've got on the developments I've been marketing, they're all pretty much sold out now. The site we've launched in High Wycombe Way is all sold, and the roofs aren't even on yet, so they're all reserved, bar one, but that'll be reserved in the next 24, 48 hours. Flats in Slough are all sold, flats in Shinfield are all sold. So, and I've still got people calling me, inquiring on the webpage and registering details, and going on Facebook to register details for the next sites that are coming up. So, my view, from what I see, is I still think the market's buoyant.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Hampshire guys, Sean, Mark,
yeah.
Any changes? Any advance?
There's a huge reduction in Fleet and Church Crookham of houses that are massively needed, and there's the most of these buyers who are desperate to get these houses are under offer themselves. So they will pay, and I'm the same person. I will pay what it takes to get the house just to get it now.
Mm-hmm.
Solid if it's 10 grand over the market price. If I get it now and gets my family the house I need, then let's move, rather than wait for the right price, rather than try to find a house that I can negotiate over a couple of days with. So there's a huge need for houses, and it's still keeping prices high. Like I said, for freehold properties. So
I've got a theory about people buying with mortgages, that people who are buying with mortgages have absolutely lost sight of and don't care about what the actual price of the house is anymore. And I'll explain that statement because it sounds quite wild. I think that once you've been to see your mortgage broker and they tell you you can go out and spend £500,000 on a property, the relevance of it being 500, 510, 480, 300 2 million quid is irrelevant. You're purely looking at, can I afford the repayments? They're saying you can go and buy it, £500,000, the repayment will be £1,200 a month. So if that property goes up by £10,000, the mortgage repayment goes from 1,200 to 1,210. Can we still afford 1,210? Can we afford 1,215? Can we afford £1,220 a month? Yeah, it's the difference between, you know, an extra couple of bags of crisps a week. So just like cars, you used to know how much your car cost to buy when you bought your Merc or your BMW or your Ford Focus. Now no one knows how much their car costs. They only know how much it costs them per month. Same for my phone. No idea how much my phone cost me. I just know how much it cost me per month. I've got a theory that the houses is now, can I afford the repayment? Yes. What did it cost you to buy? Don't know. Not interested. Doesn't matter because I'm leveraging the money from the bank. Am I talking rubbish, Mark?
No, not at all. No, I agree with that entirely. I think the market, people have got the money, people have got the mortgage, they're ready to go. I've got something in the region of 250 people looking to buy in Yateley, and bang, if it comes on at the right price, slaughtered, absolutely slaughtered. I think it's a case of mortgages. We can still get mortgage. I heard the other day Lloyd's have got a 10-year fix coming out. Well, it's come out. God, in my day, we were lucky to get 2 years. Sorry, that was a long time ago.
Your day didn't do mortgages, did they?
No, we had to get the penny jars out. Yeah, no, sorry, mate. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
What about in the new homes, Andy? Is it?
Yeah, but you're right. I mean,
I'll
give you a classic example of a couple of weeks ago. I was on site with somebody showing them around, and he said to me, he said, oh, it's a bit expensive for what it is, isn't it? I said, well, what are you comparing it with? He said, well, one sold down the road 3 months ago for £10,000 less. I said, well, why didn't you buy that? He said, because I thought it was too much money. I said, but he sold. He said, yeah. I said, so what do you think this is worth? He said, well, it's not worth what it's on for. So I'll go away and think about it. And I said, well, what can you afford to pay? He said, but, and this was a complete reverse to what you were saying. He said, well, it doesn't matter what I can afford to pay. It's what I think it's worth. I said, yeah, totally get that. If you think it's worth whatever. So he offered £10,000 less and we sold it for £15,000 more. He's a guy that's never going to buy somewhere because he can't.
That's a perfect example of what I would have expected to hear 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah. But whereas before now,
this is my personal opinion of what the house is actually worth. I don't see people having an opinion or caring what the house is worth anymore. Just whether once they've spoken to their mortgage broker, if that £400,000 house is in their affordable price bracket from a repayment point of view, they're either buying it or they're not buying it. The perfect example actually is Help to Buy. That's what
I was going to get to, is that the people that bought it, to them it wasn't what the house was worth; it's what they could afford to pay to get the house, and that's really what the market. And that sort of it confirms what you're saying, that it's not what it's worth; it's what the affordability allows you to buy.
So yeah, typically on maybe a 1-bedroom flat, you might pay £1,000 a month rent. But if you pay a 5% deposit and take a Help to Buy mortgage, you might be paying what, 650 in the region of. That's not financial advice by any stretch of the imagination, but as sort of being maths, you're likely spending about £350 a month less by buying the property than you are renting it. So the value to that person is in the repayments, regardless of what the sticker price is. It's better for them to be making those repayments than it is to be paying rent because they're better off each month. So it's a big thing, and that will be driven by interest rates and be driven by the banks. So potentially the banks are more in control of the housing market than they ever have been, and we'll see where they take interest rates for the second 6 months of this year. So on that topic, we're 6 months in now, with 6 months to go this year. Typically the second 6 months of the year until towards Christmas are the busier part of the year. Do we have any, going back to point one, super secret houses coming on the market that people are likely to have held on for 29 minutes to hear about? Sean and Mark.
Yes.
Mark, you go first.
Let's go. Tell us about it.
Yes, I do. It's very near a secondary school. It's 4-bedroom. It's detached. I've got 5 people lined up for it. And I'll tell you why these 5 people are lined up for it, actually. It's because they're such a pain. They ring me week after week after week. What have you got? What have you got? What have you got? Right? So it's got to be it's got to be a good idea. Harass your estate agent. Keep on at it.
They're making themselves memorable. As I
Yep.
said, they're making themselves known to you and memorable. So when something happens, click. These are the people I'm going to talk to.
Absolutely.
So a 4-bedroom detached in Yateley.
Yep. It needed a little bit of work. It's going to come in at around the £500,000 mark. It's going to be a bum fight.
Sean, what about yourself?
Potentially, I've got something I'm going out to see this week, which is a 4-bedroom detached in Fleet, which will absolutely fly off the shelf. It's near Reading Road South. So yeah, really good location, really in the middle of Fleet and Church Crookham. Nice little close. So yeah, fingers crossed. Had a bit of a brief chat with the owner. He's just weighing up his options at the moment. So yeah, who knows? Fingers crossed I can get that one.
Well, sounds like if you're in the North Hampshire area and you're looking for a 4-bedroom detached house and you're struggling to find one because they're all sold, then make sure you're in contact with these 2 fine gentlemen. But I think for the evening, that's where we'll wrap it up. Gents, thanks so much for your opinions this evening. As ever, if you've watched on a repeat or you've watched it live and you've still got a question, feel free to drop it in the comments box or message us direct. Pop into the DMs. We absolutely love getting questions off people. Feel free to share this with a friend if you've watched it and thought it was useful. And we'd love to see you all this time, same time next week.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.